And Peter Day visits its New York factory. For that, a question from Mark Darcy.
Should people with 6 months left to live have the right to choose to be assisted to die? Would it be an act of mercy? Does it put this country on the slippery slope to euthanasia? Is it a matter of providing the right safeguards, or is it wrong in principle? This Friday, MPs debate the assisted dying bill, and no one knows what the new House of Commons will decide in a vote which will be guided by individual conscience, not by party whips. We'll have a full report on the speeches, the arguments and the result on Today in Parliament tomorrow night at 11:30 here on BBC Radio 4.
Well, now it's time for In Business, and this week's programme is a very musical one, all about pianos. It's Peter Day.
Louis Lotti is a French-Canadian concert pianist of international renown. He's now based in Berlin, and this afternoon he's playing for me in the Berlin Concert House. The instrument he's playing is a Steinway. What's it like?
Actually feels rather good.
That was a romantic piece, of course.
Yes, that was Scriabin, a prelude by Scriabin. I always like to try playing soft because I want to see how the double escapement is.
So that was your fingertips signaling that this was well maintained.
I don't think my tips, but I think more than that, because the nerves actually, it all comes from the ear. It's a connection between the ear and the tip of your fingers.
That's a wonderful insight into what is actually going on when you sit down, put your tails at the back of the stool and address the piano.
Yes, as you could see, I've been playing maybe just 15 seconds, and it was enough to know that I could play a concert being very comfortable on this instrument.
The pianist Louis Lotti playing at the Concert House in Berlin the other day, on a Steinway, of course. That's what the bulk of the world's concert halls have as their standard piano. Louis Lotti likes to play on other instruments, as he'll tell us a bit later on. But that's not the norm. Steinway has this grip on the world concert hall marketplace. Why? That's what this programme is all about. More than 90% of the world's concert pianists use Steinway pianos. The firm has an unimaginable grip on this specialized global market. Why? Does Steinway make the best pianos? Is it the company's more than a century of experience? Is it marketing muscle, or is it something else? The world of the piano is changing shape as millions of new players and would-be players emerge all over Asia, with dozens of new concert halls and conservatoires. Will China's aggressive new piano makers challenge Steinway's preeminence? At the same time, the company's been changing hands. In recent decades, it's had various owners, including the American broadcaster CBS. In 2013, the New York financier John Paulson bought the company for $500 million. Even the company's famous Manhattan headquarters has moved. I'm on 6th Avenue, and this is a temporary Steinway hall because the famous old one where generations of artists came to play and practice is now gone. There's going to be a new one just down the road soon. Hello.
Hi, welcome to Steinway & Sons.
I'm Peter Day, and I've come, well, not to buy a piano, but to see some pianos.
Oh, okay.
Hello, you Regina.
Regina, nice to meet you. How are you, Peter?
The Steinway representative...
Engine operating temperature has been reached.
...train is my guide to the array of instruments here. Like a car showroom, passers-by can see the pianos through the big windows, even if they can't hear the music she's playing for me. She says she knows how to match the personalities of a particular piano and an individual owner. But are the people who come into this new Steinway showroom just curious or really in the mood to pay $150,000 for a new instrument?
All kinds of people.
Yeah, there they are on the other side of the glass. This is not dark and forbidding. This is a showroom on the street. Yes.
That's correct. People are coming to touch the pianos. Many of them never played the Steinways. And then we have people who are shopping for a piano. And this is, of course, the first place that is on their list.
Could you just show me just a sample of what you've got on show here?
We are standing by a concert band. This is a 9-feet piano that you will find on all major stages in the world.
And this costs?
The price of this piano is $157,400.
Steinway was founded in the 1850s when there were about 200 other piano makers in New York, but it hasn't gone far from where it started. This is the workaday borough of Queens, a part of New York that not very many visitors get to. It's over the river from Manhattan. There's a coffee roasters over there, there's a big power station. This is still a manufacturing place. And here's another factory, Steinway and Sons. Sold to concert halls and famous pianists all over the world. The company has been here for more than 150 years when it moved out of Manhattan to build a village for the workers, and a foundry, and all the things you need to make a very grand piano indeed. And I'm here to find out how they're made. This is Monday morning, rim bending day. It's when a skilled team of workers hauls planks of laminated maple wood to be gripped in a big rig invented by one of the Steinway family so they can take on the shape of the body of the grand piano. That shape is at the heart of that concert hall filling Steinway sound, developed in New York just as American cities were starting to build bigger auditoria than had been known in the old world. The new halls needed a great big sound from the piano. The wood for the Steinway comes from trees often cut from the shady side of the mountain, where growth is slower. This workshop is where the Steinway piano is born. My factory guide is Anthony Gilroy.
So this is the rim bending department, and what happens is we have what we call laminates of hard rock maple. They're lined up and they're stacked on one side of the room, and then there's a glue spreader. So this glue spreader is going to be used to coat both sides of that wood, and it essentially form a stack of this long hard rock maple, which is then going to be wrapped around a press. No heat or steam is involved, so this is brute strength, but also a lot of finesse and teamwork is involved. For a Model D, a concert grand, you're talking about 17 laminates of wood, so 17 pieces of hard rock maple bent around that rim, and when that glue dries, that's as strong as you can imagine.
This is now being lifted up. It takes 4 people to move this.
4 people, and if they were doing the Model D concert grand, there would actually be 5 people to carry it.
Here it is, over to the press. This is a skilled rig.
Yes, but here they're working as a team. They don't talk a lot. Everybody knows what the other person is doing. They each have a job to do.
Can it go wrong? Can the wood break at this stage if you don't know what you're doing?
Absolutely, it can. But when you have 140 or so years of evolution, it's going to improve over time. So if we have one rim failure in a year, that's a bad year at this point.
After 24 hours pressed in the rig to take shape, these cases are sent off to rest for several months in a temperature-controlled vault. A vital but time-consuming process, says the firm. One reason why it takes almost a year to manufacture each of the 2,000 or so grand pianos the firm makes every year. Perhaps this expensive process is one more suitably carried out in a traditional family firm, not subject to the pressures of the financial markets. Steinway has become a company which keeps changing owners. After CBS in 1972, it's changed hands 3 more times, and as we've heard, is now privately owned by John Paulson. Michael Sweeney is Steinway's chief executive. He once ran Starbucks in Britain. I asked him if there's not now pressure from a new owner to speed up the production process to bring in more profit.
The actual conversation with John Paulson was more him asking a question. If we were to change the process, would it change the quality of the instrument in any way? And when we told him it would and explained why, he said, then don't change the process under any circumstances. Prior to the acquisition by John, we were a publicly traded company, and frankly that had much more pressure than our current situation.
Why does it take a year to make a Steinway?
Much of that year is spent letting the wood cure after the rim of the piano is bent. While the pianos are stored in temperature-controlled environments, the change in humidity is a very gradual process that cannot be rushed.
Of course, there's spare capacity in the factory, isn't there? You can make more, and presumably in Germany they can also make more.
It's true that while over recent